Wow. What a year. Am I right? Am I right? But it was also a great year for gaming. Yes, lots of great games came out this year, and I thought I'd put together a little list. My top 5 favorite games of 2020. Now let's hop right into it and start at number 5. Number 5, I'm going to go with Final Fantasy Part 7. But why don't you watch this?
So I'll start off by saying that I love Final Fantasy as a whole, the entire series. I think it's awesome. But I always thought number 7 was the best. Now, there is a little bit of nostalgia talking here. I did grow up playing this game a lot with my older brother on the PS1 as a kid. But even with that said, I still do think number 7 is the best. I think it has the best world, best story, and I love the characters. Tifa, Cloud, Barrett, for example, they're all badasses. They're all awesome. And in this remake, all those elements are brought into a new light, and it's all very good. The game looks amazing. It looks exactly how you kind of imagine it looking when you reminisce about the original Final Fantasy. Um, the music is as good as ever. You know, the sound design, everything is just popping here. It's like a fine piece of art. Final Fantasy VII. And another thing I really like here is what they did with the combat, actually. Now, I do really enjoy the turn-based combat. It's actually one of the things that originally brought me to Final Fantasy and really liking it. But I think the evolution of the combat here with the more classic kind of hack and slash with a few of the turn-based elements to give it the vibe of Final Fantasy does really work with the whole style and the aesthetic that they're going for with this new Final Fantasy. Everything just feels a little more action-packed, a little more high-octane. The stakes feel a little higher here, but that's just my opinion. The only real major flaw, I think, with Final Fantasy VII is that it's only the first portion of Final Fantasy VII, and that to me was a huge bummer. Now, I won't speculate too much on why this was, but all I'll say is that if it happened to be the entirety of the Final Fantasy VII game, then this would probably be my number one pick of the year. But the fact that it's only the first portion and we got to wait however long to get the next portion did really bum me out, and I think that's really the only major flaw I can pick out in this game. Regardless, though, Final Fantasy VII is dope, and you should definitely check it out if you get the chance.
This is where the magic happens. Where I do all the gaming that I bring to you people right here. Right now I'm just watching one of my previous videos, but we're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about my number 4 pick for Game of the Year. For this one, I had to go with Ghost of Tsushima. Why don't you watch this?
All right, so Ghost of Tsushima. This game really took me by surprise this year. I didn't expect it to be quite as good as it turned out to be, and it is very good. Starting off by just saying, I think of all the games on this list, it's the prettiest game. All the environments are really unique and fun to look at. So much so that I even enjoyed the parts where you write the haikus in Ghost of Tsushima. I felt myself even getting a little inspired, and when looking at the environments and the foliage and the colors and everything, I wanted to start writing some poetry and so just taking the scenery and everything. The story of Ghost of Tsushima is really solid, though simple, and I think maybe a little predictable at times. I was always eager to see what happened next in Jin's saga. Also, the side quests here are also really good, especially the more top tier stuff, like when it came to other members in your party and kind of helping them out with all their junk. The open world was awesome. I didn't feel burnt out on it. There's so many open worlds that come out these days, and I feel like a lot of them are just a lot of the same kind of stuff, and I don't want to explore, and I feel like they get really repetitive. It wasn't here with Ghost of Tsushima. Again, I think it kept it simple, and they had some really cool ways of getting you to explore the map, like with the wind and the birds and the animals and all of that. I thought was awesome. But I think the crown jewel of Ghost of Tsushima was definitely its combat. Now, some people I think would say that perhaps it was a little simple, and I don't think the combat in this game is for everybody. Some might find it too hard, some might find it too simple. It is one of those things I will say that maybe when you get all the equipment, all the gear by the end, you are just slaying. But that's what I kind of had fun with. You do become this really powerful samurai, and you feel like right out of the movies, man. You feel like you just walk right into an enemy camp and you freaking tear it up. And it was really badass, and it was really fun. So everything in Ghost of Tsushima is awesome. I really liked it, and once again, if you haven't played Ghost of Tsushima, it is definitely a game that is 100% worth playing.
Hi there. So, as you can see, I'm at my table, my computer with all my gear and everything. This is where I will do voiceovers and recordings, like the video you're watching right now and some of the audio you've heard in the background. But besides the point, let's talk about my number 3 choice for Game of the Year. Now, this was an interesting one, but I had to give it to Cyberpunk 2077. I'll let Alex take the rest.
Now, it's funny, I held off on this list for a while because of Cyberpunk, actually. I think much like a lot of other people, I expected it to be, not only the Game of the Year, but one of the best games ever. And unfortunately, Cyberpunk was not that. It's not only due to its technical issues, but I think it does lack a little bit in the RPG department. But the reason I put it ahead of a few other games on this list is because I think Cyberpunk has some of the most interesting, unique quests I've ever seen in a video game. They're all brought to life by great writing, great voice acting, and I think Night City is a really good setting, one that's worth exploring, worth getting invested in, and it's definitely worth checking this game out. Now, if you want, I do kind of go into more detail into Cyberpunk in another one of my videos. I will link it down below, but it's a full-on review of my Cyberpunk impressions. But all I'll say is that if you can tolerate the technical issues, definitely buy this game because it is the perfect example of a diamond in a rough.
I remember going there. Hi, Alex Bertrand, Anonymous Dysco here. Yes, this is my brother Lukey's room where he does his own creations, and we do the Tuesdays with Lukey segment. You can check those out. We'll link it in the description below, but I want to talk about my number 2 choice for Game of the Year this year of 2020. And this one was Dreams. I'll let Alex say the rest.
Oh yeah, baby. Daddy's gotta talk a little Dreams. We's gotta talk a little Dreams because this game is just so good. I don't think it got enough love this year either. I think, for how good Dreams was, it didn't get enough love this year, and I wanted to give it a huge shout out. Now, not only does Dreams give you a great tool to create any game, music, art you want, but also playing other people's dreams is a blast. I've had some of the most memorable experiences in gaming in Dreams. Some of the funniest, scariest, and coolest games I've ever played have all been right here in Dreams. Now, anybody who's a fan of the channel knows how big a fan I am of Dreams, and I also owe it a little bit because it got my channel started. Dreams is much like the giving tree. It's the gift that keeps on giving. I will be playing this game for a very long time, and I think that's another reason why I put it so high up on the list is that it's just so much content, and you can't even scrape the surface of how much stuff is going on here, and it's all very well done. And also, you get involved with the community too, like either streaming or playing other people's stuff, community jams. You meet some cool people on there, and it's just a great all-around experience. I think anybody who's even slightly interested in the concept of Dreams for whatever it is, you should definitely check it out because there is something here for everybody.
Well, we're almost there, everybody. We've had a lot of great games this year, and I hope you enjoyed the list so far. But here's what you were all waiting for. The number one Game of the Year 2020 Anonymous Dysco pick. Luke, pass me the envelope. Thank you. I don't believe it. The Last of Us Part 2. Alex, take it away.
All right, so last but not least is Last of Us Part 2. Now, this game is obviously very polarizing. Some love it, some hate it. And now, obviously, I'm sure you can tell I really do love this game. Now, I do understand where others criticize it, and I get the controversy around it. But I think it's actually those moments that won me over. Now, I was lucky enough I didn't have this game spoiled for me. So when I played it the first time, I was shocked, I was angry, I was sad, and I do think I felt all the emotions that the game intended for me to feel. And I think the story as well just has the right amount of ambiguity to be able to kind of discuss it and talk about it. There are things that are worth discussing here, and different opinions on different characters and how certain things played out. And really there is a lot to discuss. For example, a shout out to another YouTuber I'm a big fan of. This guy Luke Stevens. He did a review of The Last of Us Part 2, and it turned out to be 5 hours long. I sat down and watched this thing, and I for the most part really agree with him, and there was things he even kind of turned me on to, and it was worth a 5 hour video. Arguably it could have been longer. That's arguably that he was making it shorter. The point I'm trying to make though is that there's a lot to discuss and to see here in Last of Us. To just talk about the gameplay somewhat briefly though, because I don't think that's the crown jewel of it, but I am a big fan of the Last of Us gameplay, the original. So obviously Last of Us Part 2 was a great evolution of the gameplay, and I had a lot of fun playing it. The stealth, the shooting, the AI is all very smart, and they do a few things in this game to kind of mix it up and add some new stuff in there to keep things a little fresh. Anyways, I think if you ask any gamer though, they'll all tell you that video games are not only a valid art form, but one that's highly respected and very well executed by a lot of developers. And Last of Us, Naughty Dog have never been an exception to that. Now, I think anybody who says, oh, Last of Us Part 2 or Last of Us the original, it's the first game that's ever been as good as a movie, that's total BS, because there have been tons of games that are better than movies, either acting, gameplay, whatever you want to say. But I do think where Last of Us 2 does something special is it does something very evolutionary in storytelling, not only in the video game genre, but in the storytelling medium as a whole, and I think that's why it has to be my game of the year.
Well, everybody, that just about does it for the list today. I hope you enjoyed. That was my top 5 picks of 2020. We had some laughs, we had some tears, and everything in between. Some games I really enjoyed that didn't make it onto the list, but hopefully these were some good recommendations for you of some stuff you can play in 2020. Regardless, this is a great year for me. We got the channel started. There's going to be lots of great content coming soon. Like and subscribe to keep up to date, and Happy New Year, everybody. I'll talk to you soon.